Guys, I'm Andrea. I'm a young adult author who's creating her first manuscript. And welcome to the writing process Authortube tag. So, this tag was created by the bookish pen babe, and I'll tag her down below. She is new to Authortube, and I'm so excited to do this tag. Even though I wasn't tagged in it, I really wanted to do it because I thought it would be fun. And it's snowing in Germany. It's been snowing all day. So I thought this would be the perfect time to get myself a nice warm cup of hot chocolate and just talk to you guys. And I think that this is the perfect way to do it. Let's get started. So there are 20 questions in this tag, I believe. The first question being, what genre do you write? And sorry if you see me looking down, it's because my computer's down there and that's where I have the stuff pulled up. So, what genre do I write? I write YA, but more specifically YA contemporary. I hope that I will expand my genres, but currently my work in progress is in YA contemporary and my finished manuscript is in YA contemporary, and so I don't really see myself ever writing like a YA fantasy. Whatever I write, it'll always be YA, but maybe I'll jump into like YA horror, YA suspense, or YA drama. Like, I hope to get out of my comfort zone when it comes to like my author goals and things like that. But as of right now, it's YA contemporary. So the second question is, what setting gets you the most productive? Probably, if you hear that in the background, that's my daughter in the other room, like, I don't know, talking. So, the setting that gets me the most productive is probably just sitting at my little breakfast nook in my house, or on the couch in my house, or in my bed in my house. Anywhere in my house. I don't really go to, like, coffee shops or anything like that to write. I'm just not that type of writer yet, mainly because I live in Germany on post. It's just not something I'm into, and I have a 6-month-old, which kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. So anywhere in my house typically tends to be where I get most productive, but I've been most productive at like my little writing nook, breakfast nook, but I specifically wanted it for writing, or on the couch, honestly. Good hot chocolate. Okay, so question number 3. If you have multiple story ideas, how do you go about picking which one to start on first? I always have multiple story ideas. I used to write on Wattpad, and I have like a bunch of stories I've started on Wattpad and haven't finished and still plan on finishing. So whichever story I'm most passionate about at that specific moment is the story I usually choose to start on first. So the work in progress I'm doing now is what I'm most passionate about, and it's not even something I came up with a long time ago. It's something I just thought about one day and was like, I want to write this book, and I got really passionate about it and I started writing it, and it hasn't been an easy book for me to try to write, but I'll get there. Okay, question number 4. Do you outline? I didn't. I used to be a hardcore pantser. My first manuscript, I pantsed it a lot. I didn't write an outline until I had a very, very, very rough first draft. And then for my second draft, I didn't even write an outline until I was like 6-7 chapters in. And then I was like, I'm going to outline because I want to make sure that I put, like, when I would have thoughts about what I wanted to put in the book, I wanted to make sure that those things got in the book. So I was like, I'm going to make a rough outline. That way I know what I want to put in each chapter, and I make sure to put it in there and I don't miss it. So I did that. And it started out as me just writing down. When I had thoughts about things that I wanted to put in the book, I just write it down, like just in my notes on my iPhone, write it down. And then it became, I'm going to outline it. So that's kind of how it went. The book I'm writing now, my work in progress, is definitely a book that I need to outline because I'm trying to pants it. I'm on the first chapter, and I've been pantsing it a little bit, but it definitely needs an outline. Like, I need to know where this book is going, because right now I only know beginning and end. I have no clue what transpires in the middle. Like, I have ideas and thoughts and things, but I don't know what I really want to do. So I think it's important that I work on that and outline it. So yes, I do outline. Number 5. Do you start your first draft with pen and paper, typewriter, or computer? Who uses a typewriter anymore? Is that still a thing? I'm sorry. Definitely computer. When I first got interested in writing, I used to have like a notebook that I would write down stuff in when I was like 10, 11, and that's how I would write. And now it's strictly computer, phone, iPod, whatever, like electronic. It's strictly electronic. I know they have typewriters now that like can hook up to your computer or your tablet as like a, I don't know, like a keyboard. I've been thinking about getting one, but they're super expensive, and so typewriter is not something I do yet, but maybe one day. Question number 6. What do you do to get through writer's block? This is difficult. I write. I know it sounds weird, but in order for me to get through my writer's block, I write. Like, that's literally what I do. So when I have writer's block, like, I can't figure out what I want to do. If I know, like my last book, I finished the first draft and I got writer's block for the second draft. I was adding so much in. I did it during NaNoWriMo. I was adding 50,000 words to a manuscript that was already finished on its first draft, and it had, I don't even know, so little words. It was terrible. It was really awful. I started when I was 12, and that first draft was just, it was depressing. It was awful. In that case, when I got writer's block, I knew what I wanted to be in the chapter. I just didn't know how to write it out, how I wanted it to sound. So I would skip. So like, let's say I was having a scene with the girl and the boy talking, blah, blah, blah. They're talking. I can't think of what I want them to say, but I know in the next scene, the girl goes home, whatever the case may be. I would just put needs content, little asterisks, needs content, onto the next scene. And then I would start writing there, and if I got so far down there, that, you know, path of her going home, like the walk home, whatever it may be, and I couldn't think of what else to write, then I would stop there and put needs content. Like, I would skip around, and usually in some odd way that helped combat my writer's block. I don't know. Another thing that helps me is, like, I don't know if this will come up later in other questions, but I'm just going to say it now. If, like, before I go to sleep, I'll think about my book, and I'll be like, what do you want to happen in this chapter? What do you want to happen in this chapter? I'll think about it. It'll put me to sleep because it'll have my mind focused on something else other than trying to go to sleep. When I wake up the next day, I'll remember it, like subconsciously. I'll be like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to put here. So it helps me like combat writer's block because I remember, oh, this is what I was going to do. This is what I was going to do. This is where I was going to go with this, essentially. So, question number 7. Do you format your project from the beginning or worry about that later? I worry about formatting later in some cases. My first manuscript, 100% worried about formatting later. My work in progress now, I'm writing in Scrivener, so it formats it for me essentially. So I really don't need to do any work, so I don't have to worry about doing it later. I just preset what I want it to do for every single manuscript and it does it. So I mean, it does, I don't have to worry about formatting, so technically it's formatted from the beginning. Question number 8. Do you edit as you go or when you're finished with the first draft? Honestly, I don't do hardcore editing as I go, but minor edits now I do as I go. My first manuscript, which I've learned a lot from since then, I didn't do that at all. I was just like, write it, type it up, get it done. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't type up your first manuscript and get it, like your first draft and get it done, get it out there. Like, it's not supposed to be perfect. 100% agree with that. Your first draft is not going to be perfect. It's never going to be what you need it to be. You don't need to be worried about little grammatical things or like even major things. You just need to get it out, get it done. However, I do some minor editing now in my new work in progress while I am writing, but it's not like, oh, there needs to be a comma there, oh, this is wrong, it's wrong. It's like if I don't like the sentence type thing. Like if I don't like the sentence, I'll be like, I don't like that sentence. I'll get rid of it, I'll make another sentence. That type of stuff. Not like, oh, this is a plot hole or this is a grammar, this needs a dialogue tag. Not anything like that. Just like minor stuff. And I feel like having written my first book and having started up reading books again like I used to, it's different now, and from your first manuscript to your second, third, fourth, I believe that you'll always get better, and you'll kind of self-check yourself before you even make the mistake so that you won't need to do so much in editing. You'll still need to edit and your first draft will still be crap. 100% agree with that. But it won't be as bad. So there's that. Okay, question number 9. After finishing your drafts / manuscripts, how long do you give it a break before you start going back over it, or do you give it a break at all? My first manuscript, I was on and off writing it, like on and off with it for 8 years, until finally last year I was like, I'm done being on and off with this. I'm going to finish this book if it kills me, and I finished it in November for NaNoWriMo. I didn't give a break at all. If I'm being 100% honest, I dove right into editing it because I was on my second draft. I had been working on it for 8 years. I was sick and tired of working on the same book. I wanted it done. I wanted it polished. I wanted it perfect. And I was like, I'm editing this. I'm getting it done. So I edited it. It was a mistake. I will be honest, it was a mistake. And I did have to take a couple of days off. I took it most of the day off with that manuscript, because I felt like I just needed me time. I would take a day off every once in a while and then go back to it, which I feel is a good thing. I honestly do. I feel like that's a good thing, and you should do that. Now looking back and starting my new work in progress, I will probably take, I think maximum like a week off from the manuscript before I go back and start editing. Just because I feel like it is necessary when you come back and look at it with new eyes. And I know it can be hard to convince some people of this, because I was one of those people. But when you come and look at it with new eyes, you really do have a new perspective on it. You really can edit it much better because you haven't been staring at it for a month or 2 months or 3 months, for however long straight. So you can come back and look at it from a new point of view, a fresh perspective, and it will help you to edit it better and do a better job, and for it to be a better book. So I feel like that is necessary, and I know how hard that can be for some people, me included, to take a break and not look at it, because if you're like me, you just want it done. When you get to that point where you're just doing plot holes and like developmental edits and those types of things, like you're not rewriting a whole second draft or whatever, like you want to be done. You want to do it and be done with the manuscript so you can query it, or if you have an agent, so you can send it off to them or to your publisher or to your editor, whoever. But it really is necessary to take a break, and I will have to take my own advice on this one. I will have to bite the bullet with this new work in progress when the time comes and take the break that is necessary, even if it's 3 days minimum or 2 days, but like I will have to take the break, even though I know I'm not going to want to. And I have reviewed my previous manuscript that I just jumped right into after my holiday break and going home. I have reviewed it. I have changed up a few things, which it's not bad because I'm querying it, but I haven't gotten any hardcore requests as far as fulls or partials or anything like that. So it's okay for me to go back and just tweak it a little bit every now and again, which I probably will do. So even now, I see it with completely different eyes. I still love it much better than I used to, but I see little things now that I'm like, oh, I fixed this, I'll fix that. Like it's different. It's different. Okay, we are at question 10, halfway through. So, is there something that you prefer to do to get you through writing? Playing music, TV, having your favorite drink or food? I tried TV while writing, it doesn't work. I have to turn it off, if I'm being honest. Music sometimes is helpful, but sometimes I'll get too into the song and I'll be like singing it, and then I won't be writing. Sometimes it's just better for me to just be sitting in the quiet, like just sit here, silence, have my daughter screaming in the background like she is right now, or having her little talk to herself, whatever the case may be, and just write with as much silence as I can get. Like I can deal with the TV's on in that room and she's kind of like watching it but not watching it, and I can deal with that. I can deal with background noise, stuff like that. But it's better for me to just sit somewhere that's semi-quiet with like background noise than be watching television or listening to music. That's just how it is personally for me. That's what's easier. Okay, question 11. Do you schedule your writing sessions? No. I don't really feel like I need to elaborate on this, but honestly, you don't need to stick to a schedule. That just makes writing like a job. Like, that's how I personally feel. So don't attack me for it, but I feel like if you have to make a writing schedule, that makes your writing not as fun, because then it's like a job. It's like every day at 5 o'clock I have to write. For me, it's just like sometime in the evening I will make time for writing. I don't schedule it. Whenever I get the free time, I will sit down and I will write. Like, that's how I am. I don't schedule it, because if I schedule it, it's gonna feel like a job more than something I enjoy and that I love doing. That's just personally for me. Some people are different and need things scheduled. I completely understand. No offense to you. I'm not trying to offend you. So yeah. Okay, question 12. Do you have word count or chapter goals for your writing sessions? Yes. Depending upon the session. With my new work in progress, I haven't really been setting any, mainly because I'm not that far into it and I'm pantsing it at this point and I have no clue what I'm doing. So yeah, I haven't been setting writing goals because I need to actually take the time to write an outline of it so I know what the heck I'm going to be writing about, because right now I'm just like, I have a general understanding of where I want the story to go and a little bit of the things I want to happen in it, but I have like no clue how they're going to happen, where they're going to happen, which chapters. Like, beats me. So yeah, there's that. Question 13. Are there any quirky things you do to make your projects more fun? I never even thought of doing quirky things to make my project more fun, but no, my projects, I usually write books that I love, and so they're already fun. Like, the action scenes are fun, certain sad scenes are fun. Like, that sounds bad, that sad scenes are fun. You guys get it though. The sad scenes they're easier to write in like one session. So yeah, other than that, no. Question 14. Do you work on multiple projects at one time? No. Maybe one day I will. I was, when I was doing like writing my books on Wattpad and using their platform, I was working on several projects at a time. But I find that when I do that, each one gets written progressively slower. So I stopped doing it. I'm just going to work on one at a time, and then they'll get written faster, because I already know I can write 50,000 words in 1 month, thanks to NaNoWriMo. So they'll be written essentially, hopefully, faster and edited faster and pushed out faster than if I was to work on multiple at a time. At least that's how I feel. So right now I'm not, and I probably won't again. Question 15. How often do you research what you're writing? Only if it's necessary. So if there's a word I don't know and I can describe it, I'll Google it. The work in progress I'm working on now, I have to do research because the person in it has a medical problem, so I don't know much about it in the process and how they would fix it and the surgeries and what will be done. So I have to do research to kind of figure out, okay, she has this issue, what is done, what can be done to help her. So like stuff like that, I'll do research. Words I don't know, I'll do research. If I want a new word, I'll do research. But other than that, typically no, because I write YA contemporary, so it's not like really difficult. Question 16. How do you organize your projects? Scrivener. I just use Scrivener now. I mean, I think I paid like $20 for it because I completed NaNoWriMo in one, so they gave me like a coupon code, and now I have Scrivener. So that's how I organize them. I just throw them into Scrivener. There they are. Okay. Question 17. Do you reward or punish yourself for achieving or missing out on your writing goals? I never punish myself for missing out on my writing goals. However, I do reward myself when I achieve them. Like, I'll be like, just write 2,000 words and then you can have ice cream, or then you can watch this show you've been wanting to watch, or you can watch this movie, or you can take a nap. Like, those types of rewards. Nothing like major, but just like little things that, like, if I want ice cream, if I want to watch a show, if I'm tired, like those types of things, I'll reward myself for finishing the writing for the day. Okay, question 18. We're almost there, guys. 2 more. Are there any works similar to your projects that you look for and use for inspiration and or comparison? Yes and no. So the first manuscript I wrote, I compare it oftentimes to 13 Reasons Why. I've never read 13 Reasons Why. It's on my TBR for this year. Like, one day this year I will read 13 Reasons Why. But the show, it's somewhat similar to that in that it covers a lot of sensitive topics, and a lot of things in that manuscript tie together. I tend to compare them. They're somewhat alike. And my new manuscript, I will be comparing it to, or my new work in progress, I'll be comparing it to The Fault in Our Stars. Again, somewhat similar, kind of similar concepts, but different in some ways. And mainly compared to The Fault in Our Stars because it's mentioned in The Fault in Our Stars. It'll make sense whenever the book comes out. But yes, I do tend to compare them. I try to find comparisons for my manuscripts or my works in progress, because usually they stem from a place. Although my first one, didn't stem from 13 Reasons Why. I started it well before that was even a TV show. I don't know if the book had been published by then, but yeah, I started it well before the TV show. And then I just kind of noticed that it has a little bit of comparison, so I compare them. But comparing books is definitely good, because if somebody likes The Fault in Our Stars or 13 Reasons Why, they're more likely to read my books because I say, oh, they're compared to this. So it's helpful. Question 19. How early do you wait to start looking for and hiring editors? I don't hire freelance editors. I don't plan on hiring freelance editors because I know that when I do get an agent and when I do get a book deal, I'll already be assigned an editor, and it won't really, it's not a requirement essentially in publishing for you to hire a freelance editor so that your manuscript is 100% combed through. Unless you're self-publishing, I don't really feel it's necessary to hire a freelance editor. And I will link Alexa Dunn's video about it down below, because she does a really good job of explaining kind of why it's not necessary, and it's super expensive. And so I just I'm not gonna hire one. Okay, question 20. So this is the end, guys. This is it. Cheers to the end. If you're finished a first draft or a manuscript, tell us how you felt afterwards. If you're not through the first draft yet, tell us how you're feeling about it at the moment. Okay, when I finished my first manuscript, I felt just a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I was so excited I could finally query, I was finally there. It was a goal of mine for so long, 8 years, guys, 8 years, since I was 12. And I had finally finished it, and it just felt absolutely amazing. I cannot even describe that feeling. It just felt wonderful. And when you finish your first manuscript or your first draft, whichever it may be, it feels great because it's done. It's done. Even if it's a first draft, your story is written. All you have to do is go back and just edit it. Add in things that you didn't think to add. Fix major problems. Nobody should see your first draft, but fix major problems. You get to reread it, and it's your writing and your words, and the basic plot line and everything is laid out. You don't have to outline. You don't have to think in your mind what you want to happen. It's there. You just have to elaborate on it, do better with it, and it's done, and it feels good. It just feels amazing. That's all I can say. And then I was supposed to tag someone. I don't know many Authortubers, so I will just tag any Authortuber to do this tag and share it. And if you're somebody on Authortube that's new, definitely do it. If you're not, still do it. It's fun. I enjoyed this, guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm Andrea. I'm a young adult author that just finished my first manuscript, and I'm in the querying trenches. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. Subscribe to my channel if you liked it, and thanks for watching, guys.